Good afternoon. How is everyone today? It is Sunday, April 19th, for those of you who were not sure. And it is time for some trivia. Yay, notifications. We'll give everybody a few minutes to pop in to get us started. I might go through some show and tell. A few minutes to pop in to get us started. I might go through some show and tell. I'm going to have some echo here for a second. Let me turn that down. We're still learning this live. And there we go. All right. I hope everyone is doing well today. I may have stayed up a little bit too late last night, binge watching some TV. But otherwise, I'm good. We had an excursion yesterday, which some of you may have heard about. I locked my keys in the car and through a series of, let's see if I can put this so that I am talking directly to the camera. There we go. Through a series of mishaps, the roadside company that my insurance company uses told me 40 minutes. I waited an hour and called them. They told me another 40 minutes. They dispatched somebody else. And then I called them back again, 30 minutes. Called them back again. They said 20 minutes. I said, never mind. And I ordered an Uber to come pick up my keys, my extra set of keys, and bring them to me. So that was fun. And as a result, I just went home and I vegged out last night. So I woke up late. But anyway, let's go through a little bit of show and tell before we get started, just to give everybody a chance to come in. The first thing I'm going to show and tell is my coffee mug. This coffee is a major award. I sell coffee for a company online, and every month we have a mug of the month, and this was our mug of the month for Christmas. So, hey, Lady Jamers, welcome to the stream. I am glad you are here. I need to move this over here where I can watch it better. There we go. So if anybody's interested in coffee, let me know. I can always link it in the chats, but they have really, really good flavored coffee. And our next little bit of show and tell. How are you today, Lady Jamers? You having a wonderful Sunday? Lunch. I haven't even had breakfast yet. I woke up so late today. What are you eating? Our second show and tell is I play trivia with Amy at AJC Magic TV's channel. And I won one, and she sent me this, and it's so cute. There's a little bit of glare because I have the window open across the white. There we go. He's so cute, baby mini luggage tag. I'm not sure if I want to open it. But my last little bit of show and tell to give everybody a chance to come in is, I know we do funky Funko Pops. Ooh, that does sound good. And I have stuff to make that, except for I have ruffles. No, I think all the ruffles are gone. I have tortilla chips. The second, or a lot of people talk about Funko Pops, and I love Funko Pops too. But I went to a thrift store and I found a whole bunch of old Pops, but they're not all Funko. So a lot of them were Wacky Wobblers. So I'm going to show off those, a series of those throughout the streams when I do my little show and tell in the beginning to give people time to come in. And this one, which is a little dusty, I got like 20 of them, if not more, for like $10. That Pink Panther Wacky Wobbler. And this is his box. I'm going to take him out of the box. He is a cool cat. There you go. You guys can pause that later to read it. And this came out in 2001, according to the copyright on here, but I think it might be older. Oh, these are Funko. Duh. I knew that at one point in time. See, they are Funko. They're old Funko. Hey, Perfectly Cat. Welcome. You are a cool cat. You are definitely a cool cat. Ooh, he needs cleaned off. He's a little dirty. Like I said, I got these at a thrift store and I'm not taking them out to look at them. So he definitely needs a little bit of cleaning. So he's a little dirty. See, his little head goes bobble. And it says Pink Panther on the thing, on his little stand. And I love Disney, but I think I actually watched more Hanna-Barbera growing up than I did of anything. The way we do this, Perfectly Cat, is whoever wins the trivia gets to pick next week's state. So if you want Maryland, you got to win. Or con whoever does win into picking Maryland. Oops, and he needs to look out the windows. The only criteria of picking a state is it right now it needs to be one we have not done yet. Most people are going to pick their own states, or if you like another state. We are doing Florida today. Is everybody ready to get started? We're not going to go for like 3 hours like we did last week. Well, we went 2 hours, almost 2 hours. I don't think we're going to go quite that long this week. So we are doing Florida. We're going to start with a few easy ones, get a little bit more difficult. I'm doing the entire state of Florida, not just Orlando. So let me find an easy question to get started. Here we go. What is the largest lake in Florida? The largest lake in Florida. I don't remember the racing show. I watched like usually anything that had to do with animals, Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound. I don't know if Hong Kong Phooey was Hanna-Barbera, and Pink Panther. Yeah, anything having to do with animals, that's what I watched. So your first question is, what is the largest lake in Florida? No, it's only one word. Well, yeah, the name of the lake is only one word, but they use, I think, 2 words. I mean, most there you go. And this is not English, so spelling does not count. It is Lake Okeechobee. So there you go, 1 point towards Maryland. And this is how they have it spelled. I'm going to assume that's right. Okeechobee. Yeah, the Flintstones and the Jetsons, too. What is the name? We're sticking with water here. It's a theme. No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot of water there. What is the name of one of the few rivers that flows north instead of south, which is located in Florida? The name of the river located in Florida that flows north instead of south, because most rivers flow south. Doesn't matter who knew it, as long as you typed it in, Kat. We have some crazy questions in here too. I don't know if we'll get to those. And Kat gets it again. It's the St. Johns River. St. Johns River. Was that your son again? What city in Florida has the highest average temperature in the United States? I'm going to lose my voice today. What city in Florida has the highest average temperature in the United States? Amy, welcome to the stream. You missed it. I was talking about you earlier today. I was showing off the luggage tag that you gave me. We do show and tell in the beginning just to give everybody a chance to get in. Most highways don't have proper signage. It's not Miami. Which city has the highest average temperature in the United States? Key West it is. Way to go, Amy. Amy walks in and runs away with it. Miami installed the first bank automated teller machine, especially for what group of people? This is a crazy one. Miami installed the first bank automated teller machine, especially for which group of people? No, not handicap, but they are on wheels. No, alligators. Alligators are not people, I'm sorry. Although University of Florida may argue that. They are on wheels. It has nothing to do with language or nationality. I think it was probably in the 70s when the ATMs were installed, the first ATMs. Was it the 70s, late 70s maybe, early 80s? I'm not sure. Let me see. Not scooters. I have to Google this. Oh, wow. The very first ATM in the United States was in New York on September 2nd in 1969. But this was later than that, I'm sure. They were widely used in the early 70s. They started being installed everywhere. Most popular in the 80s. Let's see. Let me think. It's a sport. It is a sport now, and they are on wheels. So think of a wheeled sport. That is a sport. I do know this, but that's not it, not lawnmowers. Not a dirt bike. Rollerbladers, we will accept roller derby. Amy's got that. Miami installed the first bank automated teller machine, especially for rollerbladers. Where did Gatorade get its name? Where did Gatorade get its name? It is odd. I found some odd stuff. I like to throw the odd stuff in there. I know it's a little bit more difficult, but I think they're neat little, you need to be more specific, Kat. I think they're neat little nuggets to learn or to know, to hear. They may not be the easiest questions to get, some of them, but I think they're interesting. It is the University of Florida. Hey, Mike, welcome. We're actually going to give that one to Mike because Mike said University of Florida. It is not the football team. It was actually something else happened in the University of Florida with Gatorade. So for another point, what was that something else? And this was why Gatorade has its name. So we have the where, now we need the why. How are you today, Mike? So we have the where, now we need the why. Excuse me. They did, Mike, but that's not quite what I'm looking for, but that's the reason that what I'm looking for happened. So they had a need. So what did they do with the need? It does have electrolytes in it. That is the need. Okay, if you have a need for something, but there's not a product available to fit that need, what do you do? If you want a product to fit a need, but there's not already a product, what do you do? It's raining outside and my hair is all kinds of fuzzy. I'm going to go ahead and move on with this one. You invent the product. You invent the product. Oh, Lady Jamers got it. We'll give you a point for that one, Lady Jamers. The scientists at the University of Florida invented Gatorade, so they named it Gatorade because they are the University of Florida Gators. How many lakes does Orlando have? How many lakes does Orlando have? Gatorade is awesome in the summer. I kind of like Powerade a little more, but that's because I'm here in Atlanta where Powerade, the home of Coke, Powerade's Coke. And we're going to give that to Mike with over 100. The lakes are mostly the result of sinkholes. One of those lakes was mentioned in the hit HBO series The Sopranos as a good place to hide bodies. Do we know which one? It is an infamous lake formed from a sinkhole in Winter Park. Lake Dead Man. No, I think that's tigers, not lakes. It is an infamous lake formed from a sinkhole in Winter Park, mentioned in the hit HBO series The Sopranos as a good place to hide bodies. It's a little bit of Sopranos trivia and Florida trivia. No, Mike, not that one either. It is named after a flower. It is named after a flower. Not Crystal Lake. Not lily, not lotus. Not Lake Cecilia. Think of a more common flower, guys. I'll cross that off so I don't go back. Think Valentine's Day. There you go, Kat. Rose Lake. Rose Lake. First theme park. The first theme park to open in Orlando. It opened in 1949, and its main attraction was a 15-foot alligator said to be the biggest in the world. First theme park to open in Orlando in 1949 with its main attraction as a 15-foot alligator said to be the biggest in the world. Lady Jamers with Gatorland. And what year did Walt Disney World open? What year did Walt Disney World open? Disney World. Amy's got it. 1971. Can you guys see the chat? Is it blurry on your end? Because for some reason it's blurry. My share screen is blurry. Let's see. Take it out and add it back in. It's very weird. Okay, let me see if I can't fix that. Yeah, it is tiny. There we go. It is tiny. I can make it bigger, but then you can't see me. So, I mean, if you guys want to do that, we can. I don't have a problem with you not being able to see me. Is that better, Lady Jamers? Yeah, I want you guys to be able to see the chat so that you know exactly what order I'm seeing them in. I don't want anybody to feel bad because they think they answered and they were in a different order than on my screen than what it shows on their screen. Okay, name 4 and do this all on one answer. Don't like throw one and then hit enter and then throw another one. Name 4 of the original rides at Magic Kingdom that are still around today. 4 original rides at Magic Kingdom that are still around today. And all in one little answer because that will make it easier for me to read. Yay, real time. It's still a little bit of a delay for me anyway. Okay. Haunted Mansion is not an original ride. I don't think the castle is considered a ride. This is not on my list. Which carousel? The regular carousel? Well, it doesn't matter. Haunted Mansion's not an original ride. And Mike's got it. Mike's got it with his Coogee Bear Jamboree, Tiki Room, Jungle Cruise, and It's a Small World. See, they don't have Haunted Mansion on my list. Let me Google that. Because on my list, I have Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean, Carousel of Progress, Mark Twain Riverboat, It's a Small World, Tomorrowland Speedway, Dumbo, The Flying Elephant, The Carousel, Mad Tea Party, Swiss Family Treehouse, The Country Bear Jamboree, and The Enchanted Tiki Room. Okay, my list may be bad. Hold on a second. See if I can find. Okay. We can leave that with Mike getting the point, or I can throw it out because it looks like I have different information on different sites. Which way you want to go with that? Sometimes I get bad intel. The internet is not always right. So Lady Jamer says, give Mike the point. Perfectly Cat says, give Mike the point. I know Mike says, give Mike the point. So I'm on another website that says the first rides. The first rides were Main Street Vehicles, Penny Arcade, Main Street Cinema, Walt Disney World Railroad, Jungle Cruise, Swiss Family Robinson, Tropical Serenade, Mike Fink Keelboats, Davy Crockett Explorer Canoes, Frontierland Shooting Arcade, Diamond Horseshoe Review, Country Bear Jamboree, Haunted Mansion, Hall of Presidents, Snow White's Adventures, Cinderella's Golden Carousel, Mickey Mouse Review, Dumbo, Mad Tea Party, Small World, Skyway, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Grand Prix Raceway, and then it has a joke at the bottom, Monsters, Inc., just seeing if you were paying attention. So we'll go ahead and leave Mike with that point, but know that I got bad intel. I had planned on spending more time on this yesterday going over my questions, but unfortunately, I was sitting there waiting for roadside assistance instead. All right, moving on. I already asked that question. I have that on there twice. Orlando was once the main hub of Florida's citrus industry. Something happened in the late 1800s which caused farms to move their citrus crops to another part of the state. What was that? Thank you, Amy. I keep forgetting to put things. I can't bring up emojis on the chat because it just freezes up my computer. Chrome doesn't like that for some reason. Perfectly Cat has it. Orlando was once the main hub of Florida's citrus industry. A deep freeze in the late 1800s caused farms to move their citrus crops further south. Long before tourism, the most popular industries in Central Florida were what? There are three, and you need to get all three. Long before tourism, the most popular industries in Central Florida were what? And please, for my sanity, put them all in one line. Wonder what the oranges are. Let me see here. No, I don't know how to make the orange. Before citrus, Mike, before citrus. So orange groves would be considered citrus. Oranges and pineapples are citrus. So there's three industries. So what other three things do you guys? Oh, I'm sorry. I read. Okay, let me start over. Long before tourism, the most popular industries in Central Florida were what? Citrus is one of them, so I will take that. But I'm not sure what Manny crashing product production is, Mike, so you might need to clarify that for me. So I'm looking for two more besides citrus. Okay, so Mike's got a point. Kat's got a point for cotton. I know I said you had to have all three, but this is easier this way. So we're looking for one more. What is another thing you see a lot of in Florida? It's not bread, not wheat. It doesn't grow out of the ground. It does not grow out of the ground. It eats what grows out of the ground, but it doesn't grow out of the ground. So it is something that is alive. It does not come out of the ground at all. No, not gators. It does have four legs. And it comes in a multitude of colors and patterns. Cattle! There you go, Mike. Long before tourism, the most popular industries in Central Florida were cattle, cotton, and citrus. Orlando businessman Dr. Philip Phillips once owned 5,000 acres of citrus. He perfected the canned orange juice process and sold his company to who? And it's not to a person, it's to the name of another company for $50 million. Orlando businessman Dr. Philip Phillips once owned 5,000 acres of citrus, perfected the canned orange juice process, and sold his company to what other company for $50 million? Cat's got it with Minute Maid. Anybody want to guess what year that was? Did it sold? Phone is crazy every day. My internet on my phone has been acting very slow. Too many people on the internet. It was before 1976. Mike is close, but it's later than that. Later than that, Amy? Later than 1950. I'm definitely going to lose my voice. Hey, Piglet Roo, welcome. 55 is so close. You guys are hot and on fire, but it is not correct. You guys have said almost every number but this one. How are you today, Piglet Roo? Mike's got it with 1954. All right. Legend has it, the city of Orlando was named for a character in a Shakespeare play. Which play? Legend has it that the city of Orlando was named for the character in a Shakespeare play. I need to quit putting that way. Do we know which play? No. Not Othello, not I Fellow, not Hamlet, not Bath. Not Macbeth. Not Romeo and Juliet. It's not one of his, I mean, it's a well-known play, but it's not the most well-knowns. Not Midsummer. And there are other names around the city that also come from the play. Ah. So it was out there. It is not Much Ado About Nothing. The other names found around the city are Rosalind and Rowena, if that helps. Other names found around the city are Rosalind and Rowena, or Rosalind, and they are also from the same play. It is not Tale of Two Cities. I don't know my Shakespeare that well, but most of them are guys dressing girls, guys dressing as girls, and girls dressing as guys. So I don't think you ever knew who was actually playing a Shakespeare character. None of the words. Come on, Kat, you can do it. None of the words in the title are over 4 letters. And there are 4 words in the title. There you go, Mike. As you like it. As you like it. Which year did SeaWorld Orlando open? In what year did SeaWorld Orlando open? I didn't realize that these parks all opened like shortly before I started going down there. Cat. Mike's got it with 1973. What about Universal Studios? What year did that open? Kat, we won't tell your students. Unless they're watching and then they know. It is later than that. Later. Universal Studios didn't open nearly as early as the rest of them. Earlier than that, Mike. Ah, cool. I've probably seen movie versions of it. I know there's a whole bunch of movie versions like that. There you go, Mike. Your voice to text went crazy with the 9s. Universal Studios opened in 1990 with Nickelodeon, Back to the Future, E.T., Ghostbusters, and the Bates Hotel. Of those, which one is the only one still open? Hey, Shelly, welcome to the stream. How are you today? Universal Studios opened in Orlando in 1990 with Nickelodeon, Back to the Future, E.T., Ghostbusters, and the Bates Hotel. Of those, which one is still open? Mike, I know you're going to be honest with me. Was that a voice to text error, or were you trying to say something else? It is E.T. It is E.T. You have a question for me, or you want me to repeat the question, Amy? Yeah, I figured that, Mike. So I'm going to give that to Mike if you guys don't have any repeat. It was Universal Studios, opened in Orlando in 1990 with Nickelodeon, Back to the Future, E.T., Ghostbusters, and the Bates Hotel. Of those, E.T. is the only one still open. Yeah, some of these are a little weird. You can, what I would suggest, Mike, like for abbreviations like that, just go ahead and say extraterrestrial or something like that, instead of trying to get the phone to cooperate with the abbreviation. Ah, okay. Cat's figuring out who's ahead, and she's already trying to get her state for next week. Who ended up buying Tiger Woods' house? Who ended up buying Tiger Woods' house, which is, of course, located on a golf course? You did, Kat. You're not on my list. I will give you guys a hint because if you knew it, you would have already typed it. So it is another golfer. It is another golfer. Who ended up buying Tiger Woods' house? Yeah, I didn't get my pixie house built. I think Honor Palmer's passed away. Anna Balmer. Yeah, voice to text has not been behaving with all the internet pull. It is a more recent golfer. He is still playing. He has a green jacket. For those of you who do not follow golfing, the green jacket, you win the Masters, I think. I don't remember. You win some kind of something in golf and you get a green jacket. I need a name. I need a name. He is a Southerner, I believe. That guy in the commercial. You know, there's a lot of golfing commercials with a lot of different guys in them. No, not Nichols or Nicholson. Not Palmer. His last name does not start with an M. Let's see. Let me find some more trivia about him. The first name that he goes by is not his real first name. Maybe that will help. If you follow golf, he is left-handed. Oh, he was born in Florida. I thought he was from Georgia. Maybe he grew up here. I don't know. Close, Mike. Close. Very, very close. He has, according to Wiki, he has 14 professional wins, 12 PGA Tour wins. Yes, Tiger Woods did buy Tiger Woods' house, but we're looking for who bought it after Tiger Woods. And Shelly's got it. She is on the board with Bubba Watson. We're going to leave Orlando for a minute. We are going to leave Orlando for a minute. Dive capital of the world. Where is the dive capital of the world? And I need the correct name. Spelling does not count, but I do need to know it is the name. Close, Cat. No, I don't see it yet. Kat was closest. Well, Kat or Amy was closest. I'm not sure. I need to look at a map for that. You agree with Amy? Key Largo, Cat won. Cat gets a point. Welcome back, Mike. During the 1991 Gulf War, the busiest military port in the country was blank. During the 1991 Gulf War, the busiest military port in the country was blank. And from this location, the military moved more supplies and people than any other port in the country. Correct, Shelley. That is his full name. And I know that because I Googled him a minute ago to look for more clues. Port, not fort. Port. Like a shipping port. During the 1991 Gulf War, the busiest military port in the country was blank. P as in Paul, O-R-T. Yeah, I got that when everybody started answering forts. That's the problem with trivia sometimes. SP. Hey, Jim, welcome to the stream. Welcome to trivia. In case you missed it, our current question is, during the 1991 Gulf War, the busiest military port, and that's P as in Paul, O-R-T, in the country was blank. From this location, the military moved more supplies and people than any other port in the country. It is not Canaveral. It is not Lucy. How are you today, Jim? Are you guys enjoying sunshine down there? It does not have port in its name. It does not have port in its name. I forgot to bring water to the table. I have not heard of that, Jim. It's on the Atlantic side. It is on the Atlantic side. There you go, Amy. Jacksonville. A lot of people don't realize Jacksonville is a huge shipping port, huge international shipping port. I found that out when we were looking at shipping some things over from Thailand. We could choose Jacksonville or Los Angeles or New York. Those are the three major shipping ports. Let's see. The first graded road built in Florida in 1763 was called Old Kings Road. The first graded road built in Florida was called Old Kings Road, and it was built in 1763. Who is it named after? Who is it named after? And we need to be kind of specific. Yeah, I went shortly after they redid the port in Jacksonville, the waterfront area, like by the river and all that. Is really neat. It is King George of England. King George of England. So we're going to give that to Lady Jamers because she said King George. And I said kind of specific. Basically, I was not wanting somebody just to say some king somewhere. Who owns a condo in Winter Park and likes to eat at Briar Patch? Who owns a condo in Winter Park and likes to eat at Briar Patch? This is a well-known international icon that has been around for a very long time. They used to be part of a group of people, but are no longer. In fact, they may be, they're the last of that group that's still alive today. And Mike's got it with Paul McCartney. Controlled by the Union during the Civil War. This fort, and that's F as in Frank, O-R-T, was the home base for a successful blockade of Confederate ships that some historians say shortened the conflict by a full year. Controlled by the Union during the Civil War, this fort was a home base for a successful blockade of Confederate ships that some historians say shortened the conflict by a full year. It was also active during the Spanish-American War, World War I, and World War II. And it does have fort in its name. So I need the name of the fort. Controlled by the Union during the Civil War, home base to a successful blockade of Confederate ships that some historians say shortened the conflict by a full year. It was also active during the Spanish-American War, World War I, and World War II. It is not in St. Augustine. Come on, Kat. It is actually not anywhere near St. Augustine. It is very far from St. Augustine. I hit my Windows key. That's bad. It is not DeSoto. Is there a Fort Clinch? If there is, it's not that. And I have another clue. You know, I went to the St. Augustine Fort, but I never went inside the fort itself, and I regret that, so I need to go back down there. St. Augustine is my favorite city in Florida. It is not Fort Wilderness. It is possible, but probably not. But an actor in Home Improvement shares its name. So he could have been named after the fort, but I doubt it. An actor in Home Improvement, the TV show Home Improvement, shares the name of this fort. Not Tim Allen. It is not Tim Allen. Jim, you have one of the words right. Actually, I guess it's two actors. I don't know. Two actors. It is in Key West. So far, Jim gets the point because he has one of the words right, the middle word. The fort has two names. The home improvement clue is a bad clue, but it did get us one of the words. It is in Key West. Taylor is in the name, but it is not the full name. Let me know when you guys give up, because I don't have any other clues to give you. No, Jim. Jim, aren't you a history teacher? There you go. Mike's got it. I don't know about the call part, but it is Fort Zachary Taylor in Key West. This is a long clue for one of my favorite places that I used to go to when I was a kid. This was one of my highlights of our Florida trip. In 1988, the Chicago Sun-Times called this place the number 15 restaurant in the country with sales of 10 million. It closed in 1991. And I'm looking for the name of the restaurant. So I'm giving you clues slowly to give people chances. In 1988, the Chicago Sun-Times called this restaurant the number 15 restaurant in the country with sales of $10 million. It closed in 1991. It was named after something brought over from India in the 1870s. And the land was later purchased by Richard B. Baumgardner, who decided to transform this grove into an ambitious destination restaurant, which opened in 1958. I used to go and get Shirley Temples and thought I was just like all that because I had this drink, the Shirley Temple. This is probably something that only Florida people are going to know, or people that traveled there. It is the name of the restaurant. In 1988, the Chicago Sun-Times called it the number 15 restaurant in the country with sales of $10 million. It closed in 1991 and was named after something that was brought over from India in the 1870s. The land had been purchased by a Richard Baumgardner, who decided to transform the grove into an ambitious destination restaurant, which opened in 1958. I don't know where the drink originated, but that's where I first found it when I was a kid. I loved going here. It was just like this big, huge deal. And we used to bring these big hurricane glasses back from there. And I don't know what happened to any of those. And I wish I still had them because they'd probably be worth a lot of money. Why did it close? Let me see. Probably just dwindling sales. Let me look that up. Mismanagement. Its heyday was from the 60s to the 80s. Eventually, there were a few different locations, but the main location was the most extravagant and had a world-renowned garden, Renaissance-inspired architecture, waterfalls, chandeliers, 12 different themed dining rooms. And elements of it have been preserved and can still be seen at the Sam Ash Music Store, which now occupies its space. There's still a special events center and gardens there as well with the same name. And it was named after a tree sapling that came from India. Named after a tree sapling that came from India. And it is on the west coast. It is in a city on the west coast. A popular retirement city. Or at least it was at some point. It's not Legoland. It was a restaurant. Very extravagant, fancy restaurant. Let's see if I can find some more. My phone is being slow. I know this one's a hard one. And now my phone is not loading Google. Try and okay. This, if you can see it, this isn't gonna work. I can't get this to go up there without not hiding the. If you can see it, that is the tree it is named after. That is the tree. Maybe some of you Floridians know that tree. Hey Noah, welcome to the stream. I am going to put its scientific name into chat, which probably won't help anybody. It is in Clearwater, if I have not mentioned that yet. It is in Clearwater, or was in Clearwater. Looking for more clues. My phone is so slow. Are we calling this one? I can't get clues to load on my phone. My phone is not working. It is the Kapok Tree Inn. Kapok Tree Inn. And that is how it is spelled. So we will move on to something more simple, because I know that was a very, very hard question. Really, Mike? Well, you are younger. That might be why. We used to go there every year when we went to Florida all the time. Cigar capital of the world. Once known as the cigar capital of the world, with nearly 12,000 cigar makers employed in 200 factories, this city produced an estimated 700 million cigars a year at its industry's peak. It is a city I have heard of before, but it is not a major city. Jim's got it with Ybor City. Jim is on the board. Nearly 80% of the state's intake of sweet Atlantic white shrimp is harvested where? Nearly 80% of the state's intake of sweet Atlantic white shrimp is harvested where? Is it in Tampa? Part of Tampa? Kind of makes sense it would be on a coast. I was talking about the cigars still. But nearly 80% of the state's intake of sweet Atlantic white shrimp is harvested in the waters off of this island. Nearly 80% of the state's intake of sweet Atlantic white shrimp is harvested in the waters off of this island. I'm hoping chat did not freeze because y'all are being very, very quiet. There we go. $2 million of shrimp are delivered to its docks annually. It is on the Atlantic side. And in a not surprising turn of events, it is not far from the largest port. I know this because a friend of mine just moved there. Shrimp Island. Nope, not Shrimp Island. You're close, Mike. It's not far from there. Trying to think if it's north or south of there. I don't remember. I'm not up on my geography of Florida or most anywhere these days. Well, no, earlier you missed it, but earlier we discovered that Jacksonville was one of the busiest ports, or the busiest port. I forget the exact wording on that question. Amy's got it, Amelia Island. Amelia Island. Would we like a point update? We have Perfectly Cat with 7. Amy with 5. Mike, 12. Lady Jamers 3, Shelley 1, and Jim 1. So, Kat, it looks like you need to get on mic some more if you want Maryland next week. I can't pronounce that. I'm not going to use that question. This city is known as the Venice of America. This city is known as the Venice of America because it has 185 miles of local waterways. It's a big city. It's not the biggest city, but it is one of the biggest cities. Bigger, well-known. Well-known? It's in the top 10, probably. It is not Venice, Florida, surprisingly enough. Not St. Augustine. I don't think St. Augustine is big enough to have 185 miles of local waterways. Mike's got it. Fort Lauderdale. The oldest settlement in Polk, P as in Paul, O-L-K, County. The oldest settlement in Polk County. It dates back to 1849 when a settlement grew up around the United States Cavalry Fort during the Seminole Indian Wars. I do remember somebody requested some questions about the Seminole Indians, so there you go. No, not St. Augustine. Let's see what else I can find about this city. It apparently shares part of its name with a fort in Maryland. Mike's got it with Fort Meade. Fort Meade. Just south of Homeland. Which is looks like maybe an hour south of Lakeland. 45 minutes? I don't know. I can't tell by the map. All right, moving on. Just north of Haines City is the spring training home of who? Just north of Haines City is the spring training home of who? Whom? It's not whom because it's a group, but I need the team name. Just north of Haines City. This is just north of Haines City is the Baseball City Stadium spring training home of whom? Mike's got it with Kansas City Royals. City known as the heart of Florida. The city known as the Heart of Florida. Which part's not true anymore? It is not Orlando. It counts for you, Lady Jamers. Mike's got it with Haines City. I was a little tricky there. Mike, you were running away with this today. You are right, Jim. You are right. I apparently have some really old trivia because it says that that stadium opened in 2002. Interesting. Just wait, Mike. We'll get you next time. Sports fishing capital of the world. Sports fishing capital of the world. And this is a city that I'm looking for. Who picked Florida anyway? I forget. Was it Amy? I think Amy picked Florida. So we want to know the city billed as the sports fishing capital of the world. Noah's got it. Noah's on the board. Isla Morada. I want all of you to practice saying Isla Morada. Yeah, something tells me Ohio's going to be a while in coming. But I have a lot planned for Ohio. Excuse me. The Murakami Museum and Japanese Gardens is the only museum in the United States dedicated exclusively to the living culture of Japan. Where is it? The Murakami Museum and Japanese Gardens is the only museum in the United States dedicated exclusively to the living culture of Japan. Yeah, see, as we go along, people will figure out that we should pick an obscure state that they know a lot about and not everybody else knows about. Or pick some obscure state and study on it. Noah, Delray Beach. Delray Beach. Miami Beach pharmacist Benjamin Green invented what in 1944? Miami Beach pharmacist Benjamin Green invented what in 1944? Not Coke. Coke was invented in Atlanta. In case y'all need to remember that for a future. We We've actually been here longer than I thought we would have been. Mike. Mike. I love your voice to text. You know, I'm going to write that down because that is an interesting character name for future use. I'm giving that to Mike because we're giving Mike a point for that. It is suntan lotion or suntan cream. I'm also going to give Shelly a point because Shelly was the first one that actually said sunscreen. Santana Lucian. He accomplished this development by cooking cocoa butter in a granite coffee pot on his wife's stove. On the French Reef in the Florida Keys, this is known as one of the most dived shipwrecks in the world. On French Reef in the Florida Keys, this is known as one of the most dived shipwrecks in the world. And I'm typing things in there when I don't feel like I say them clearly enough to be understood. No, Mike. Let's see. Let me see. I need to find some more clues on this, I think. I'm looking for the name of the ship. The name of the ship. It was a steam cargo ship of the early 20th century. And it is in Key Largo, but I'm looking for the name of the ship. It's a shallow wreck, which is probably one of the reasons why it's popular. It sits between 25 and 50 feet of water. Lady Jamer's got it with Benwood. Benwood. It was built in 1910 in Sunderland, England, but her home port was Newcastle, England. She was registered in Norway and had a length of 360 feet. Let's see. She was owned by a Norwegian shipping and trade mission company, merchant marine freighter, steam engine producing 1,800 horsepower at 9.5 knots, crew of 38, armament of 12 rifles of 1 4-inch gun, 60 depth charges, and 36 bombs. It sunk April 9th, 1942, under the command of a Norwegian captain that I'm not going to attempt to say his name, as a routine voyage from Tampa to Norfolk, Virginia, carrying phosphate rock. Rumors of German U-boats patrolling the area forced the Benwood to travel on a course with the Keys coastal lights 3 miles off and completely blacked out. On the same evening, the Tuttle, traveling to Atreco, Texas, was ordered to travel the key lights 1.5 miles abeam and was also blacked out. reported at 12:45 a.m. of the same night. The Tuttle was ordered right rudder to turn the vessel starboard due to a black object spotted just ahead of the ship. Her signal was not reported heard by the Benwood. And at 12:50 a.m., the Benwood sighted the blacked out ship to the starboard in their direct path. One intended to turn starboard, one intended to turn port. No acknowledgement heard or reported. And they basically turned into each other. And that was that. Okay. All right. The United States city with the highest rate of lightning strikes per capita. United States city with the highest rate of lightning strikes per capita. It is not the Everglades. It is a city. Shelly is Googling. You got caught, Shelly. No Googling. It is not the Everglades. It is not Lake Okeechobee. It is a city. And it's a well-known city. You're close, Mike. It is very close to that, Mike. It is in the same area. Bad, Shelley. See, if you're going to Google, you can't get caught Googling into the chat. Not St. Petersburg, not Fort Myers. It's close to that area, Tampa, St. Pete, but it is not Tampa or St. Pete. Mike's got it with Orlando or with Clearwater. Mike's got it with Clearwater. Believe it or not, Florida is not the most southernmost, let me start that over. Florida is not the southernmost state in the United States. Florida is not the southernmost state in the United States. Which one is? Florida is not the southernmost state of the United States. So which state is? Yes, please, if you don't mind. Puerto Rico is not a state, it is a territory. Please, please, please hit the like button. If you are not subscribed, feel free to subscribe and hit the little bell notification thingy. And Jim has it with Hawaii. There you are. Jim has that with Hawaii. Oldest European settlement in North America. Oldest European settlement in North America. How can you forget about Hawaii? Be a great place to live if it was not expensive. Lady Jamers has it with St. Augustine. I am going to give a point update. And then we are going to do 10 more minutes. We're going to go to 2:45 and then we are going to call it. Perfectly Cat, you have 7. Amy, you have 5. Mike, you have too many to count. 18. Mike has 18. Later Jamers, you have 5. Shelly, you have 2. Jim has 2, and Noah has 2. So let's see if we can catch up to Mike. Dr. John Gorey of Apalachicola invented mechanical refrigeration in what year? Dr. John Gorey of Apalachicola invented mechanical refrigeration in what year? You know, Shelly, if you want me to take away a point for cheating, I can do that. It is in the 1800s. Is his birthday party on his channel? Close, Noah. Noah is close with 1850. Thank you, Amy. Everybody definitely go to visit Joey for his birthday party after this. Tell them you danced with trivia in Florida. Lower, Mike, lower. Lower than Mike's answer. Shelly's got it with 1851. Orlando is home to the world's largest McDonald's. Name one of the 3 unique menu items that I have listed here that the McDonald's menu has. Orlando is home to one of the world's largest McDonald's. The McDonald's unique menu items include, and I have 3 items listed, and pizza is one of them. Amy, you get a point. They have waffles, made-to-order omelets, and brick oven pizza. The number of visitors in Orlando each day is equivalent to the population of what major city? And they have half of the interstates as that city. The number of visitors in Orlando each day is equivalent to the population of what major city, even though they have half of the interstate? Which is kind of sad because the city doesn't have that much interstate. And Orlando's population is 2.3 million, but this is the visitors only. Visitors only. It's not far from Orlando, but it's not in Florida. Hey, Garrett and fam, welcome to the stream. You're coming in right at the end. You got like 5 minutes left. Amy's got it with Atlanta. Yeah, me too. That was just a crazy day. I lost like all my day yesterday, and then today it's all rainy and ugh. My garden will get planted one day. I don't think my pixie house is going to get done though. So we got about 5 more minutes. In what year did the Wizarding World of Harry Potter open at Universal's Island of Adventures? In what year did the Wizarding World of Harry Potter open at the Universal's Island of Adventures? Mike's got it with 2010. Garrett, I should say welcome to Mike's Trivia. Mike is doing Florida proud. Why did the Wizarding World, or who had the rights first to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter over Universal? Universal did not have first rights to that. So who had first rights? My voice is going away. Correct. Amy got that with Disney. J.K. Rowling went with Universal for better collaboration. Oh, cool. I am almost out of questions. I'm going to type this into the chat so you can get the spelling. Lake, because I'm probably not going to pronounce this right. Lake Eola in downtown Orlando is actually what? Lake Eola in downtown Orlando is actually what? This is going to be a 2-part question. Not a pond, not a restaurant. It is water. Mike gets it because I know what he's trying to say. Oh, Mike, you need to fire Siri. Somebody tell me what rhymes with hey single. What rhymes with hey single? Say hey single really fast and think of water. There you go. Mike, a sinkhole. How deep is the sinkhole at its deepest point? Garrett. Yeah, it's easier to know what he's saying when I know the answer. How many feet deep is the sinkhole at its deepest point? It's not that deep. Not that deep. You're close, Shelley, with 60 foot. Deep enough. Deep enough to hide a body. Shelley is in the right area. Higher. Higher, higher, higher. It is a 2-digit number. Amy's closer with 70. Off the internet, Mike. I didn't keep the This one actually came off of a Florida government website, and I don't remember the name of it. I'm Googling this, looking this up. Hold on. You saw and say it, Lady Jamers. Yeah, I'm finding that as well, Mike. I got these off of a government website, but apparently it's a government website that is not right. So I'm going to give that to Mike. 23.8 foot deep, I had 80. I already asked that question. There is a museum which owns about 2 million shells, and it claims to be the world's only museum devoted solely to mollusks. MOLLUSKS. I can say that normally, but my throat is really dry right now. Where is this? In what city? A museum owns 2 million shells and claims to be the world's only museum devoted solely to mollusks. Mollusks. There we go, mollusks. And Noah's got it with Sanibel. And I only have 2 questions left in my entire list, so we're going to go ahead and finish those. Greater Miami is the only metropolitan area in the United States whose borders encompass 2 national parks. Name one. Greater Miami is the only metropolitan area in the United States whose borders encompass 2 national parks. Name one. And Mike's got it with Biscayne National Park. And I'm also going to give a point to Piglet Roo for Everglades. Piglet Roo, you are on the board. It is Biscayne National Park and the Everglades. Oh, neat. You need to go there when everything opens back up again and do a video. I'd like to see that. Our last question. Garrett, what do you get a point for? I'll give you a half a point. How about that for being here? Garrett gets a half a point for being here. And my chat has gone wonky. There we go. Mr. Rogers. Now this is something that Pennsylvania people may know. Mr. Rogers wrote A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood as his senior thesis at a college in what city? Mr. Rogers wrote A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood as his senior thesis at a college in what city? Amy's got it with Winter Park, and yes, it was Rollins College. Y'all ruined my second part of the question. And they said you can see his lakefront home aboard a Winter Park scenic boat tour. So I have a couple other little factoids that were not worded well enough for me to ask them as a question. I thought they would be way, way too difficult. You guys were doing Florida trivia. Why would it be Detroit? Florida is the only state that has two rivers, both with the same name, and they are not connected to each other or have anything else in common. They are called Withlacoochee. I'm going to type that in as soon as I can put my cursor back here where it's supposed to be. These aren't actual questions. These are just factoids that I had for questions and decided not to ask. Garrett, you're always playing your own game. Sometimes you let us play along. And Orlando attracts more visitors than any other amusement park destination in the United States. Which is not surprising and way too easy to ask as a question. There was one other one because I couldn't pronounce it. Apparently. Keep it family friendly. This springs that I'm going to send to chat is a home to one of the two naturally round lakes in the world. It is a naturally round lake. It is one of only two in the world. Let me see where the other one is. The other one is in Syracuse, or east of Syracuse, in Green Lake State Park. So remember that for New York trivia. All right, our final score. Perfectly Cat, 7. Amy, 8. 9. Amy's got 9. Lady Jamers has 5. Shelly has 3. Jim has 2. Noah has 3. Piglet Roo has 1. And Garrett was gifted with a half a point for showing up. So that means Mike is our winner with 22 points. Mike, you got 22 points. You get to choose our state for next week. Do not turn my light off. You get to choose our state for next week. Hi, puppy. What you doing? You don't have to choose it today. You can let me know. Or you can choose it today. We can give you a couple days to be bribed if you like, and you can let me know. Somebody wants Maryland, somebody wants California. Y'all don't forget to go visit. Rhode Island actually is very historical and has a lot of trivia for such a tiny state. Everybody don't forget to go see It's Joey's World. If someone could toss his link for his birthday party into the chat again for me. Did he? Ah. Michigan. All right, next week we are doing Michigan. You think Michigan. You do have the right to change, but you only have 24 hours to change your mind. We're going to do Michigan next week. And everybody, thank you for coming. Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for me. And Michigan, how is Michigan like California? And subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the bell notification. I hope you guys had fun. Thank you, Amy. I'm glad you had fun. Everybody go and tell Joey a happy birthday. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. You want to see Shelly and Pam battle it out. You know, I should have figured you would pick Michigan. All right. I will see you guys in Joey's stream. You guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for playing. I appreciate it. Let me hit some buttons here. Have a great day.